So you've either seen or heard about New World and you want to know more about it. You want to know if it's worth your time and money. I'm going to try and help you decide with this short basic video on the general mechanics and what to understand about New World. So before we get into this, I just want to make sure that everyone knows what a faction and a company is before. A faction essentially is an organization that you join at a certain level. I think that around level 10, it gives you access to armor, weapons, and much more from the faction vendor for the faction currency. Now, you can gain this faction currency by completing missions that the faction representative gives you. However, a company is more like a guild in other games. The company works for and is tied to the faction that it's a part of. With a company, you can have up to 100 members from that faction and take control of regions in the map and set taxes for towns in those regions. So New World is a game that's very easy to get into, but very hard to master. New World's fighting mechanics are some of the best and most skillful that I've experienced in any MMO. In New World, fighting mechanics are very different to other popular MMOs. Usually in most MMOs, you kind of select a target and then press a button to do a skill, and it fires a skill at that target. Whereas in New World, you actually have to aim at your target. You have to actually aim your mouse at the target. This is definitely noticeable when using weapons like the bow or the musket. It requires hand-eye coordination to do well with, like most shooter games. Speaking of weapons, there are a number of weapons that we know are available with more to come as well. So you got the bow and the arrow. You got the musket, the life staff, which is for healers. You have the fire staff for mages. The ice gauntlet as well. That's also for kind of mages as well, in a way. And then the melee weapons, you have the spear, the hatchet, it's like a small axe, the hammer, the great axe, the rapier, which is like a long sword, and then the sword itself, a shorter sword that is used in conjunction with a shield as well. While you can use a shield with the sword for blocking and defensive purposes. I will be releasing in-depth weapon builds and combo videos in the future, so make sure to subscribe for that as well. Now, there's also the ability to dodge incoming attacks as well. The dodge distance and effectiveness depends on what armor you're wearing, whether it's light armor being the biggest dodge or heavy armor being the smallest kind of like mini dodge. A lot of weapons have skills that can stun as well and immobilize your opponents. So these skills are referred to as crowd control effects, or CC for short is what they call them. Weapons like the hammer, great axe, spear are larger, slow weapons that generally have more crowd control skills, CC skills, and can be very effective in PvP battles as well for sort of rooting your enemies and making sure they don't run away. So in terms of PvP, there's a lot of different ways to fight other players in New World, if that's what you're looking for. So the first one is open world PvP, quite similar to most games, I feel like. Essentially in New World, it's something that you can enable in the town. I think by pressing default U on your keyboard, you can enable PvP in the town if you're part of a faction. If you're not, you can't quite do it yet. You have to get to level 10 or around there to be able to join a faction. Then after that, you can press U, enable PvP, and this allows you to fight anyone from the enemy factions that have PvP enabled as well. So they'll usually have like a red name above their head if they have PvP enabled, so you can fight them, whenever you want. So the advantage of having PvP enabled in the open world is that you get a 5% XP boost as well, along with obviously being able to gain XP from the PvP missions and also PvP itself from killing enemy players. You get quite a lot from killing enemy players. It's around maybe 1/3 of the XP from a normal quest that you might get. Another way to PvP is through war. Now, war is when a company, a sort of guild or company, has enough faction influence in a region through doing PvP missions, so having PvP enabled in an enemy territory that is not your faction's territory, then wage war on that territory once you have enough influence in that area. Now, there's a lot more to war that I'll probably save for another video. That is one way you can do it. Now, the last one is an endgame mode. It's a level 60 mode called Outpost Rush. I haven't personally tried this because I didn't get to level 60 in the beta. Outpost Rush is essentially 2 teams of 20 players attempting to maintain control of 3 points around the map. They get given like an area, and there's 3 points around the map that they want to control. It's kind of like domination in Call of Duty. If you played that, it's like domination where you have flags, you control the flags, and you gain points up until you win the game. It's got a few extra things with a bit of a PvE. You can spawn like monsters and stuff to sort of help you in the battle. You can spawn in or buy PvE monsters to help you. Like I've seen bears and stuff running around from the streams that I've seen. It's pretty crazy. It looks quite fun, and I'm down to get into that once I get to level 60 in the full release. But it's safe to say that in New World there is a pretty big emphasis on PvP. So if that's your thing, if you enjoy getting to know the game and understanding the mechanics, and then trashing on players, then yeah, this is definitely the game for you. So moving on to PvE, as is in every MMO, there is always some random mobs specific to the area that you can kill for XP and quests. They have quests where they go and, you know, tell you to kill this many mobs or collect something from this mob that will drop it. In New World, the mobs around the map do seem to have a lot more mechanics to them. So they use skills, they dodge. In fact, like some dodge too well, I feel like. There is a good overall feel. It's quite challenging, but not too challenging. So kind of like boss mechanics, but not quite. The one thing that slightly bothers me about that is that there's a lack of variety in the mobs for different areas. Sometimes you go through an area and you'll see the exact same type of mob over and over and over again. I do understand that regions have certain types of mobs. I might just be being picky, but I don't know. Like I just feel like there's quite a few of the same over and over and over again. Maybe they could dot them around, you know, and have like different ones mixed in as well. But I just feel like it's very samey, but at the same time, fighting them is quite fun. So as you progress through the storyline, yes, there is a main storyline, I know. Not there's much storyline anyway, but I'll get into that later. You'll start to come across missions that take you into expeditions. These are like a raid or dungeon style PvE zones. These are separate instanced areas that you can enter with a group of up to 5 players. Expeditions are generally a lot harder than open world areas, and mobs deal a lot more damage, but take a lot more damage as well. So it's just generally harder. They have better chances to drop better loot though as well. So there is a trade-off, obviously. It's like most sort of dungeons and most MMOs, the harder the mobs, the more or better drops you would get. So obviously good party coordination with specialities will help massively when running these expeditions. Obviously got like tank, healer, and DPS to sort of cut down the bosses and their minions, their additional mobs as fast as you can. Should work wonders. So going into the crafting system in New World, it's one of the most complex systems that I've really seen in any MMO to date. The basis of crafting is where you first make the tools to gather the materials, you harvest the materials, you gather it, and then you refine those materials into craftable materials, and then you use those craftable materials to then make into armor, weapons, jewelry, and many more things. So there's essentially 4 steps to what you need to do. Obviously, the tools that you use don't really disappear. They just kind of keep on your character. You have to repair them over and over and over again as they go down in durability. You keep repairing them and it's fine. Some tools, like you have flint tools, then iron tools, then steel tools, star metal tools as well. They have much better mining rates or like gathering rates. So they gather faster, they gather more. And so on and so forth. Also, throughout that whole process, at every step that you're doing it, so the 4 steps, at every step you're gaining experience points and skill points for the skill that you're using, and also experience points to level up your character. At every step you're gaining experience and you're progressing your character. So moving on to the storyline. Now, I'll just say it now. If you're looking for a deep lore and storylines, New World is just not the game for you. It's not that way inclined. There's not a lot of storyline. There's no cinematics after the first starting character cinematic that you get. There's voice acting for the main quest givers, the NPCs, and then there's half voice acting for the side quest givers, and then just none whatsoever. So that not every NPC that gives you a quest has voice lines. Some do, some have half, and then some don't. Weird. The lore of New World isn't something you can really follow along with. There is a few videos on YouTube. I think there's one from Sir Medieval that sort of goes into the lore of New World and how it kind of starts and how it began. Essentially, you have to kind of outsource that. You can't really follow that in game very well. If you were to go through every single quest dialogue and then you follow it from there, you might be able to get a good picture of what it could be. But there's also letters that you pick up along the way that give you XP, sort of like chapters of books or whatever that give you XP, or like diaries or whatever. But like, I mean, I only picked them up because they gave you a small amount of XP, like 180 XP, whatever, which isn't much at all, but it's something, right? So yeah, if you want to read those, you can do. It stores them in your journal, so you can actually read them afterwards. If you find all the letters in the World of Eternum, you can obviously read through them in your journal and get a good idea of what the world is like. But then again, that would have taken ages. But yeah, I just don't know. There's not that much focus from the developers on the storyline, and that's perfectly fine. It's okay. You know, it doesn't need to be. Not every game needs to have a storyline, but just understand that if you're looking for storylines or lore and following cinematics and that stuff and just really nice cinematics and immersive story, this is not the game for you. Either way, I hope this kind of helped make your mind up about New World and if you want to buy it or not. In my mind, personally, I feel like the game will definitely have the content for the £40 or however much you're going to pay for it. I think there's definitely a lot of value in there. There is no subscription. It is just pay once, and that is that. You can obviously buy like in-game currency to purchase skins or microtransactions or things that will make your life slightly easier, but at the same time, it's not quite pay to win. So that's nice. But please, if you had any questions about the game or anything you want to know about what I said in this video, please leave a comment down below asking so, and I'll make sure to reply with my honest truth about what I think. Again, I do stream on Twitch from Monday to Saturday at 10 a.m. BST UK time. So if you guys want to come hang out, say hi, it's in the description below. Click that, give it a follow, and I'd love to see you there. I hope to be doing a 24-hour stream for the release of New World. Should be giveaways, lots of good fun. I'll be grinding the game like crazy, trying to get sort of the the highest level I can to get into the sort of the end game content and PvP and stuff. So that'll be the main focus, I think, is PvP. Should be fun. Should be really good fun. So if you guys want to come out, as I said, link is in the description below. So give it a follow.